Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks for joining me. Got another little Technique Tuesday tutorial to share with you. Do you know, I can't believe it's December already. Just where is this year going? It's flying by. Now, today really is a little demonstration for some ladies that I met at a craft show I did a couple of weeks ago in Lee in Cheshire. And what it was, we've got 3 new sets of sticker stencils, and I'll just bring these in to show you. Now, this was a couple of weeks ago, so you've probably already seen these, but in case there's anybody who hasn't, we've got set 2, set 3 and set 4, and on the back it shows you. And I thought each week I'd come in with one from a different set. So this one is set 2, and it's got beautiful stars in, as you can see. Fabulous Christmas tree. If you need any last minute Christmas cards, that is just amazing, very quick to use. And this lovely sort of scene that we're going to use today. And that's what I've used for this. And this was one of my demonstrations at the show. And a couple of ladies asked if I could do a YouTube on it so they could revisit it. Because as we all know, when you watch something, when you get home, you think, what exactly did you do? And especially because we were talking as well. But I'll just give you a quick heads up. Then we have set 3, which if I turn round, the light might reflect on the anything shiny, and the light reflects on, very sorry. So this has got 3 fish, ideal for men's cards, a lovely leaf, and again ideal for making a scene in. And I've been asked to create that, so that's something else I'll do. Another leaf, and this lovely here, which could be a tree, or it could be a mushroom. You see, choices. And then set 4 here, and straight away the stag. Again, last minute Christmas cards, but cards for men, fabulous. Lovely hair, gotta love a hare. And again, a lovely building, castle building. Again, it's amazing how much I've used this. And a butterfly, so useful. So I thought we'd come in, we'll go in order with set 2. And as I say, especially because this demonstration went down so well, and I've got to be honest, it gives me a chance to make another Christmas card. So you won't mind, will you? Now, the thing is with these sticker stencils, they are reusable. I've had quite a few people asking me, so they are sticky on the back. And they are very sticky, which is fabulous. I would always recommend peeling. You get both, sort of the innie and the outie. And I always recommend peeling the innie one off first, even if I'm using the outie one. And that's because I find it easier then to actually lift the outie one. But that's just me. I also just take a little bit of the tack off just the first time on my clothing because I find they are very, very sticky. But again, that's not a problem. It's just for me. You know me, belt and braces. It's something I do. But all these things, these little hints and tips, I think it's important we tell you. I mean, the product is fabulous. We're just giving you hints and tips of how to use them. And for me, I always store mine back on the carrier sheet. I did wonder about storing one on the front and one on the back, but then I got so confused as to which was which that I just keep them both on the same. And I think I'm going to be adding a little bit of Posca on this carrier sheet because I do keep losing it. But again, I think that's just me. So we're going to start. We've got, I know you're going to ask the measurements of these. I think the 5, let me have a look. I think they might, but that's a guess. Yes, the 5 inches square. I know you like measurements, ladies and gents. So what I've done is I've got a piece of 5.5 inch square multifarious cardstock. And as you can tell, I can't speak today. So, and I'm going to use the outie bit for this. And again, I keep being asked how much sticky have they got. So this, I have used this for quite a few cards myself. I can actually see I've got some glitter on the back there. And I also, as I say, demonstrated with it and more or less all day at a craft show. So we'll see how much sticky it's got left. Now, if eventually, so as you can see, this has still got sticky. And yes, unfortunately, there's an Eric hair there, but don't judge me. So as you can see, that is still sticky. When the sticky eventually wears off, my suggestion is just clean them in warm soapy water. Don't scrub the back, but just some fairy liquid, and you know, other brands are available. Little bit in that, in some water, and just pop the stencil, the masks in for a couple of minutes, and then rinse it off, let it air dry. But when you're letting it dry, pop it sticky side up, and then it will come back perfect. But as I say, don't scrub it that sticky, because you don't want to take, if you think about it, you're just going to scrub the glue off, and you don't want to do that. So what we're going to do first, now I could put masking tape round here if I wanted, but I've got to be honest, I haven't time for that, maybe me, but we're going to add ink round there. So if it goes over, do you know what? It's not the end of the world. So I'm going to come in first with Della Blue. And my ink pad has been used and used, so it's quite pale, but even so, and I'm using the larger the stencil brush, I still take some off on the lid. And I'm just going to flick a little bit of colour. And when you're using sticker stencils especially, but all stencils, be mindful of the way that your stencil is. So where it's the trees, I'm just going to come down and then go along the side here. Just checking you can see. So I'm going to come in from the side. Now this middle bit here, if I was to take my stencil brush this way, although it's stuck down, it could lift that and damage it. So I find it easier to just flick this way and then turn round and flick this way. And that way I know I'm not going to damage or lift that stencil. And I just think that's a good habit to get into. Just get used to turning your work as you're going. And again, I've less chance of going over the edge because I'm being mindful to flick this way. And I'm just building up a light bit of colour. Now, and I try to leave a sort of a lighter area here. I just think it adds to that whole sort of dimension. In my head, I know I'm going to put my moon here. So I know this side of the design will be darker. So what I'll just do is just come in the same colour, but just to start building up a little bit of extra depth on this side of the trees. And these two lovely buildings here. And then just at the base here, we'll add a little bit more. And over on this side, where I know it will be deeper. And then what we're going to do, just to add some extra shade, we're going to come in with dark denim. Lovely colour this. It's almost like a blue version of black, if there is such a thing. That could be something new I've just invented. What do you think? It's a blue version of black. I'm going to come in with my little stencil brush number 3. And I'm going to take the colour from the lid. Now, if you've not done this before, the best tip I can give you is always take it off on here. Because we want to add some deep shade, but we don't want to spoil it. So again, I'm going to gently, and if I can just show you, I'm going on the mask first. And I'm just slowly coming in, look. And if I just zoom in, just for this bit, if I just show you, so you see how I'm just coming in with this side. And if I bring the finished one in, you can see here, and this is the depth we're looking for. And it really makes such a difference. So again, on here, and we just want this edge. So we start, get used to starting. It's like when you do your landscape masks, your hills, you get used to just always on that mask first. We'll pick a bit of that ink up and down here. And we're just going to come in a little bit more. Just build it up gradually. So we're going to have some shade here and at the base here. And again at the base here. I want a bit darker here. so I know I can build this corner up. And it's all about just deciding where. Just want a little bit of shade there, a little bit here. Just go a bit deeper here. Now I want a little bit at the base here of these trees, won't I? Because if my moon's here, it'll catch the top of those trees, but we'll have a bit of shadow at the bottom. And then at the base here, and then I'm just going to turn it round because I just want to catch this side of these buildings. A little bit that side of the chimney. And just take your time, practice this, but it just makes such a difference. Now, what I want to do is give myself some roofs. If you look, if I bring the finished one in, can you see we've got roofs on these houses? So all I'm going to do is bring in one of my landscape masks, and I'm just going to pop it there, look. Again, take some off there and just use it and add that bit of shade across there. And if I turn it round, can you see the difference? And I love this. It's so quick, so easy, but just makes a world of difference. So again, pop that there. I've got enough ink on my brush. There we go. And this is a technique you can use on the other one that I've shown you, the other stencil with the buildings. So I'm just now going to have a little look, and I'm happy with what I've got there. So I'll just zoom us back to how we were, if that's okay. I nearly forgot, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? So I'm going to take this off now, and again, gently, gently does it. And I just wipe mine with a wet cloth and then Mr. Inky Binky. And there, I mean, that you could leave that in its entirety, couldn't you? You could just have that as it is. But we'll add a little bit of blending. So we'll come in with our Della Blue first, because I just like to show you options. So I'm going to start in the corner, and I'm just going to blend some ink around the edge. And again, even though my ink is quite pale, because as I say, I've used this colour a lot, I still dab it in the lid, just because it's a good habit to get into. So again, on the corners, circular motions, and I'm using my mat just as my blending surface. And this is the palest of the colours. I'm going to come in with the deep colour as well in a minute. So let's have a look, just a little bit along there, and then down that side. And again, if you wanted, you could leave it at that stage. I like to show you lots of different stages, but we're going to come in with this deeper colour now. I warn you, deep breath, ladies and gents, this is a deeper colour. So I've got my kitchen towel here, and I'm just going to come in circular motions, but for me, I think the deeper colour frames it. Now I'm just using one of our blending sponges. For no other reason than I just find it a little bit easier with my deeper colour. But again, you know, it's whatever, if you like to use your brushes, use your brush. I think we just get used to certain tools for certain jobs, don't we? Well, I do. Sometimes it's just what I've got at hand, and I happen to have this deep blue colour on here. So round we go. And I'm not coming in as far as I did before, but I just wanted that to frame it. Now, a little tip, if your blending isn't as perfect as you wanted, don't panic, because we're going to flick some water, and that hides a multitude of sins. So don't be harsh on yourself. Oh, it's nearly Christmas, so he's getting a new Inky Binky for the new year. So look at him. You've only got a month left, mate. Now, I said about introducing my moon mask. So I'm going to bring that in. I still wanted to surround my design, and I've still got room, look, to bring in the moon mask. And I'm going to use the Della Blue. If the Della Blue is too light, I can always come in, should I wish, with my dark denim. But I think my tone-on-tone Della Blue will be enough. And again, just build it up, take your time. Yeah, and for me, that is enough, look, to just bring in and then we'll add some nice little, my fan brush is in my water pot as always, so I'm just going to add some water flicks around the edge. So I'm just taking my fan brush, look, around the edge. Now, if I wanted to mask this area off, if you think about it, I could use the inner part of my sticker stencil, pop it over and mask it off. But again, I am happy with just being able to control my fan brush. If I get a few little splats on there, faux bleaching, I don't mind. I'm just going to bring them in a little bit more. Obviously the faux bleaching will show up better on the dark areas where you've got more ink. So we'll just give that a bit of a pat. And again, that's better if you let it dry naturally. So normally I would go and make myself another brew. But what I'm thinking is we can add some extra highlights with our Posca. So the Posca, we have different size nibs. Again, this is something we keep being asked. So if you look, it tells you PC1 and PC5, and that's just the nib. So obviously your 5mm nib, look, is a lot chunkier than your 1. But I've got to be honest, I have both, and I find them both very useful. They both have the ball bearing in, so give them a good shake. And if the paint doesn't come down, just pump it up on your mat a little, because it works with a pump system. So what I'm thinking is, and again, me being me, I have a couple on the go because I don't know about you. They can be very, I tend to have one, I don't know why, that always works better than the other. They seem to take it in turns. So I'm just going to add some extra little white highlight just down this side, look, and just on the top here. And then we need a bit of sparkle, so we're going to come in with some Stickles. And again, remember your Stickles, it can be a bit rude, so we'll pop it on there. And we'll just, I want some here, just in this white bit here, across here. And again, I'm just painting it on, a little bit at the top of the trees here. I don't want to overdo it. And I put my Posca on first because I find for me it works better with the Posca and then the Stickles. And finally, my Posca splats. And that's just for me, the order that I've found it works best. We'll add a little bit there. And then we'll give that a little wipe. Now this would be great, as I say, for last minute cards or batch card making. And again, splats. Both size nibs work well for splats, depending on what size splats you want. So what I tend to do is with my finer one, I'll have a little go. Let's add some snow, see how this is working. I always think, you know, if you're having a bad day, oh, look at that, yeah, this one's, I'm happy with this one for my splats. Don't need to come in with the biggie. So it just shows you, this is the 1M. So you can get lovely snow splats with that. Right, that'll be enough. We don't want a huge blizzard. And remember, our challenge on the Lavinia website, have a look. It's something like Let It Snow or Snow Flourishes, or I know it's something to do with snowfalls maybe. So I'm thinking this will be a great design for that. And if you know, you can win £40 to spend at Lavinia. So I tell you what, this will be a fabulous card. Now I want a sentiment Yuletide. I love these sentiment stickers. So I'm just going to peel this one off. The hardest bit I find here is choosing which one. And then just as always, I'm going to pop it on my scissors or my paintbrush just to decide, do I want it in the middle? Right, I was going to put it there, but I think with the moon, it's better there. I think the angle, although I quite like it in the middle. But if I put it in the middle, it's got to be directly in the middle. And I quite like that shape there, so I'm actually going to go to this side here. Check it straight, pop it down. And I put my sentiment on last, just in case. I don't know about you, ladies and gents, but sometimes when I'm doing my Posca, it covers my sentiment. So that's why I put my sentiment on last. And there we have it. And I have to say, I think you'll agree with me that that is just a stunning design. I'll bring in the original one and I'll just open it up for you. Now, as you can see, again, I mean, I never create two things the same. I don't know about you. This one, I've actually come a little bit further into the almost a moody sky. So again, it's all about choices. You can decide which one you like. This one is a little bit darker, but it's nice to see the two. And again, I love this sentiment. Twas the night before Christmas. I just think it goes lovely with this design. So like I say, that's one of the sticker sentiments of that new pack. So if you have a little play with them, I'd love you to tag me in. And I must have a go with the star. I've not used the star, but I'm thinking a background in that lovely dark denim and leaving the star in the middle. Yeah, I might just have to have a go at that next. Well, I'm off now. My husband's having an operation tomorrow, so I've got to go and get his little overnight bag ready for him. Bless him. I bought him a little bell, you know, so it's an ankle operation, so he's going to be laid up for 3 months. Can you imagine? So if I come in here more, ladies and gents, and have more talk and time with you, mindful time, I might need it. So wish me luck with him. I'm sure he'll be fine. But I think he might be ringing that bell saying, oh, can I have a cup of tea, love? So we shall see. Anyway, you all take care. Thanks for joining me again. Love and hugs to you all. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.